Historia Opaville, a Discord fanfiction. Chapter 1, The Life in Opaville. It was a good day as always in Opaville. Everyone was chatting, drinking beers, fun at its peak. This day the people from Gensokyo came to visit the place because it was the Great Broom Day. The day when everyone grabs a broom or mop and just stays with it all day. Some people came with bleach and started drinking, as always. However, Nebula, one of the people who cleans up after some party or something similar, said that whoever vomited would clean their own vomit, because everyone had a broom or a mop. Oparer came in and started to party with everyone too, a rare thing to happen because he usually just stays at his home and makes videos. After the day ended, everyone left the place and went to their houses, except for the Gensokyo residents that came. They all went to a nearby hotel. The next day was very different. The place was very dirty because everyone who cleaned had drunk beer and didn't have enough strength to clean the place the same night. But no one cared much. They just went to the market as they usually do when a week ends. Max Marnie stayed at home for an unknown reason. People knocked on his door but no one answered. But it could have been one of his secret projects, so no one got worried. The day went on as always. Oparer got back from the market and started making videos. Mari went on vacation with Rosie in a Yamaha Raptor. Grotesque went home to see some stuff. Kids U went in a nearby Pizza Hut. In the middle of the day, something really weird happened. Something that hasn't happened for about 8 years. The lights went out. Oparer was the one who got most annoyed. He was in the middle of video production and lost all of his footage. The rest of the people were fine, but still, even with this, Max Marnie didn't go outside. People started to worry. The lights were out for about 1 hour by that time, and no signal of Max Marnie too. Oatmeal went to the power industry, but everything was working fine. The cables were fine as always, electricity was working fine, but for some reason the cables that were intact simply did not send energy to Opaville. The technicians were called, but they weren't able to fix it. They said they would come another day. The residents of Opaville got frustrated, annoyed, and worried why this happened. Mari and Rosie said they would send a message when they reached their destination. How would the people of the town receive this message without energy? Something smelled fishy. Maybe one of the residents could have done it. But who? Yukari tried to see who did it gaping through the town, but did not have any results. Even the Gap Yokai was not able to know. How would they find the culprit then? The residents of the town were informed that everyone should keep an eye out for suspicious activity, because who knows what could happen in a day like this. Chapter 2, The New Company. 2 days passed, the energy still has not come back, and neither did Max Marnie. People started to get scared, low on food because they didn't have a working refrigerator, and wondering if they could survive more than that day. Most of the stores were closed for the day, and Oparer was sad because he couldn't record videos. And Kids View and Grotesque weren't able to access their prohibited folder on PC. It was 1 PM when something happened. The energy came back, but with another thing. A company. It was called Ching Red Guards Chong Company, or CRGC for short. Lots of big cars arrived, and then a saleswoman got out of one car. She had red hair and had magical powers just like the Gensokyo residents. It was very similar to the Scarlet Devil Mansion Keeper. She took off her glasses and said, "I'm Hong Mei Ling of the Red Guards, otherwise as Hong Ching Chong Mei Ling." She wasn't the same person. They were super similar, but they were not the same person. The Mei Ling they knew was much more not sophisticated and wasn't that serious. They had some machines in some of the cars. The residents of the town had no idea what was happening. "We broke the barrier with this place from the rest of the world. That's why the energy got cut off. One of the parts of the barrier had influenced the energy cables, but we fixed it," said Hong. "Who are you people?" Nebula asked, who was cleaning the ground. "And what are you doing here? What are you even talking about?" "Hey, one question at a time, kiddo. We are here because this place is now ours." "What? No way, we don't even know you," said Bro. "Ha! Don't you know the legend? Whoever breaks the Discord barrier will be the owner of the town that resides there." "I don't get it. We never knew about that. And we've been living here for a long time. You can't come here and say this land is yours," said Mr. Frog, the smartest Discordian. Nah, she's just kidding, right? Said Ziga, a person who likes to make a lot of jokes. No, I am not. We'll take this place, and no one can stop it, period, said Hong in response to the confused people. The lady got mad and just said to all of the cars, come and use the machines. What the residents didn't know was that the company was a land seller. Those machines that they bought were destruction machines. All of the people left the city and ran to the forest and were separated from each other. The Gensokyo residents that were present on that moment tried to battle against CRGC, but it wasn't enough. The cables that the company saved remained there, but it was thrown to the trash, and they destroyed it too. Even though they were saved before the destruction started, Hong said that if anyone came back, it would not be tolerated and something bad would happen. The problem was, it was that day that Rosie and Murray would come back from their vacation, and people were worried about what could happen to them. 1 day later. Last night, FC, Zoismos and Anabi Yap went to the road to get Murray and Rosie safe from CRGC. They managed to get them, but they were seen by the company. But nothing happened. In the morning, they had to make a plan to get their city back and get the company out of here. But with Hong in there, it would be difficult to do, especially that the Gensokyo residents were gone now, and Hong had a special power. Ryan thought it would be interesting if they made distractions while other people searched for Hong, and to try do something to make her stop. But right after he thought that Hong was too powerful for that, Oparer had an idea. His idea was creating a video asking for help. But that wouldn't help since they didn't have internet nor energy in a forest. The group got divided into groups, searching for town residents. The next day, all of the groups were found and got grouped together, as well as realizing one very important thing. Max Marnie was still at Opaville. When Aino said that, no one said a word, thinking what could have happened to Max. After that, they realized that it was really important to make the plan, and the fastest plan possible. Otherwise, who knows what could happen to him if it didn't happen already. They first planned to gather scraps and trash laying around in the forest to make some kind of cable to steal energy from the city, and to be able to ask for help. But this plan had a really complicated part. If the city was already completely destroyed, they would not have internet Wi-Fi. They would not have internet nor energy to use their cell phones, as some of them still had battery, but not enough to communicate with people. They had to do that fast to see if Max still had his phone, and to ask for people to help outside of the town. After that, they made another plan. They would sneak into the city by groups and try to get to Max's house if it was still there, trying to find him to get out of the city and try to communicate with other people. Or they can make a very complicated discussion to trade something in order to get the CRGC out of the town and try to rebuild it. But Bro did not think any of those plans were good enough and suggested they could go away and find another place to live. Leave Max Marnie behind and let CRGC take care of the town. Make it the easy way. They've already lost so many people, so it shouldn't be hard to find a community that would accept all of the rest of the group. Kidsview, who was Ryan's brother, agreed with this plan, but Ryan didn't, as well as the rest of the group. They would not leave Max behind, neither the people that could still be alive at the city. They wanted to battle to get justice. They decided to stick with the first two plans, while Bro and Kidsview left the group to find a community. Some other people joined them too. They divided the groups by 3. One that would enter the city, one that would give cover, and one that would try to get the cables. The first group who was going to enter the city managed to successfully enter, and no one got seen by the guards or anyone from the company. They went to house by house, finding many people that did not survive, and started worrying if Max would be in that way too. They divided in 2 small groups. One went looking for Max, while the others went to gather food and supplies in general. They went to a supermarket and stole most of the food and other valuable resources. 2 other people went into other stores and gathered what they could. They went back to their base and did everything perfectly. No one saw them. The other small team were seen by some guards and tried to hide, but Pearl and Isai did not make it. They brought back what they could to the base and stayed there. The group who was going to gather the cables almost did it, but one of the cables broke and Ryann got injured. Mari and Grotesque brought him back to the base to help him. The rest fixed the cable and were able to bring energy to the base. But in the place that they were, the internet wasn't working. The only hope for the group was to find Max. They entered Max's house and started searching for him and found him in a closet, bleeding and crying. "They killed Massive," he said. They went to his bathroom and found Massive's body there, with lots of vital fluids coming out of his body. They used Max's cell phone and tried to call someone, send messages, everything they could, but no one answered. They brought Max back to the base, but Zoismos got shot by an arrow to the knee. But they managed to get out alive. In the background they heard, "If you ever come here again, I'll kill every single one of you," said Hong. When they got back home, they healed everyone who got injured, but Zozzy, Max, and Ryan needed to rest. They started to think, what can we do now? They already had a way to stock food, but what if it rains? Everything connected to the energy would explode if it rains. They would need to come back, but what if Hong sees them? Chapter 4, The Surprise. It was nighttime. The people didn't have hope. They were tired, wanted to just go to a comfy bed and stay all day in it. But they couldn't. They were in a very bad situation. However, they didn't make progress. A small group was made and they started exploring the forest, searching for whatever they could find. Luckily, they found water, food, rubber, and lots of other materials. They even had to leave some of it behind because it was just too much to carry. Later, they decided it would be better if more people came with them to gather resources. Most of the people were tired and depressed, waiting for something good to happen. When the small group came, all of them cheered up a little bit and started to make a banquet in commemoration for the building that they found, which had the food and supplies. After the banquet was finished, they started putting the rubber in the cable to not explode when it rains. They took a look at the city, hoping that Hong didn't see them. About 5 people stayed in the base, making sure everything was in their designed place and evaluating things, see if things were edible and other things like that. While they were doing that, something gathered their attention. An unknown girl was coming towards the base. They started to hide everything they had, but couldn't hide the fact they were living. If she was from the company, they would have to move their home. When the girl reached the place, she was kind of familiar. They still stood hidden. They couldn't afford any risk. When she got even closer, Zoismos said, "It's her, the original Mei Ling." He got out of the bushes and went to talk to her. She got a bit scared and almost kicked him, but everything went fine. Murray, who was hidden together with Zoismos, got very happy. Mei Ling was a very good friend of hers and was sure that she could help him with the catastrophe. Mei Ling explained that there was a thing she never told anyone. She told them that she had a twin sister. They were shocked. They were friends with Mei Ling for a long time, but never knew she had a twin. She said that she was deeply sorry, but did not want people to worry about that, so she didn't tell anyone. Meanwhile, the people who were insulating the cables came back and she explained what was happening. She knew her sister was a dealer, but she had no idea she would come to Opaville. If she had, she said she would warn immediately and would help protect the city. She took some time to come because it was only recently that she discovered it, and almost couldn't come because the other Gensokyo residents said that her sister was too strong to be beaten, and that she needed to forget it. But even after saying that, Mei Ling didn't give up. She said she had a plan. She would go to the city and search for her sister and try to convince her to stop trying to sell that land. That it was something special, like a haunted place. That if the people whose lives were there will not live there anymore, the place would become haunted and be cursed. That plan wasn't the best of all of them, but they agreed. After that conversation, the supply group came and got the information too. The city was not totally destroyed yet. Only parts of the city that weren't very used much were in a bad state, so they still had time to save it. They had less people than before, but they could still fight. Even when they were a bit injured, they would not give up on their town. Also, Hong seemed to be having other plans. Since the destruction was being much slower than before, what could she be thinking? Could the machines be in a tired state? They would have to know that as fast as possible. To be continued. Notes of the author. I hope you like the story, but you mainly understand the story if you're part of the Oparer Oshawott Discord. There, most of the moments in the story was based on things that happened there. Just search for Oparer on YouTube and you'll understand. Thanks for reading. Go join the Discord. Link to it in the description below. Love you. So if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like down below to tell me that you guys want more of this. And if you want, I can do different kinds of stories. I don't have to just do ones that are fan-made. I can do ones that are creepypasta, anything like that. Just let me know what you guys want to see. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode of Whatever I Make. Stay safe, fam. See ya!